To Whitechapel in London to do some interviews in the area. I started having a guy follow us around with his cell phone and come up to us and basically say, like, you're not allowed to film here, which we perfectly are allowed to film here. It's a public street. We're literally going to get arrested for standing outside of mosque.
Yo guys, your boy ShadyShae, the one and only. So, you know that British culture is about tolerance. Today we're going to check out when that is put to the test in Whitechapel.
What are the limits of one-sided tolerance? For Lauren Southern, the answer emerged by asking a few simple questions on camera. While filming in Whitechapel, her interactions with the public quickly gained attention. The situation escalated, and what started as a conversation soon became serious enough that police were called.
Well, in your opinion, what do you think it means to be British?
To have the British passport, maybe? Yeah.
So you think it's just to have a British passport?
Yeah, I think, yeah. To be born here, yeah.
Think there's any like cultural aspects to being British?
No, because it's a multicultural country anyway, so you don't have to be a specific culture to be a British. You can be a British and anything else.
What does it mean to be...
Ah, okay, so that is the perception some people have. That does explain a lot.
Anyway, so you don't have to be a specific culture to be a British. You can be a British and anything else.
What does it mean to be British? I think, for me anyway, British is being multicultural, a society which is multicultural, accepting people of different beliefs, different backgrounds. Modern day Britain is not what it was 300 years ago, where it had its own unique cultures, but now it's a mix of cultures. Does that make sense? Right. Its food had to become mixed, its dress sense has become mixed, because we take the best from the world. That's what British is.
Good thing or a bad thing that kind of the idea of being British doesn't have a cultural aspect to it anymore?
I think it's good. All successful countries are multicultural. I think multicultural is a good thing. That's what makes a country successful.
Do you think that there is a kind of core like British culture that's distinct from the multiculturalism, or do you think there is just multiculturalism?
It's just multiculturalism. I don't think there's a specific way, specific culture that is part of British. I think it's just being British is embracing all these different cultural differences.
Wow, these answers are telling, in my opinion. All right.
Is British culture?
Culture is like, it's actually multicultural.
British means you are permanent and you are resident of this country.
British culture means to be multicultural. Would you agree with that?
That's of course 100%. Yeah.
So how do we distinct British culture? Do you think there's a unique British culture, or is it just multiculturalism?
It's a multicultural.
Just
multicultural.
British means having value, dignity, and respect. You know, everybody respect each other, and that's what London is to me. Yeah.
Now, like, for example, I'm not allowed to enter this building here because I'm a woman. Do you find that tolerant or no?
Well, you have to put scarf over your head or something, and then you can go in. I'm sure there are women that can go in there. Yes, there are a lot of religious places, particularly in Muslim religious, that you cannot do. There's some segregation.
Do you consider yourself British?
Yeah, I'm British, yeah.
He said there's some segregation.
There's some segregation.
Do you consider yourself British?
Yeah, I'm British, yeah. I'm a British person, yes. All right, no problem.
Do you think that to be British, you have to have certain cultural values, speak a certain language?
No problem. Very nice.
If a passport were the only requirement for belonging, wouldn't that reduce being British to nothing more than paperwork? It would suggest identity is something issued by a government office, granted and revoked with ease. But identity runs deeper than documents or legal status. That man will likely leave the conversation reflecting on his own answer, realizing that being British, like any national identity, involves culture, history, and personal connection. It's not something so easily defined. Still, conversations like these can be uncomfortable, and not everyone appreciates being confronted with difficult or thought-provoking questions in public settings.
Yeah, he's literally like peeking around the corner.
Pathway.
It is a public pathway.
Well, you can't be doing it in front of the mosque.
But it's a public pathway.
So you're going to keep doing it? Is that what you're saying?
I am perfectly allowed to be filming there, yes.
That's no problem. No problem.
Do you plan on doing something about it? So you plan on keep doing it. I'm going to make a call. All right. Oh yeah, he's making a call. Wonderful.
You okay? What are you using this for?
I just make YouTube videos.
Right, okay.
There have been individuals in the past who've actually come in here and they don't actually display much British value. British value is about tolerance.
I disagree.
British value is not about tolerance?
I don't think we should tolerate things that are counter to the British cultural values.
No, did I say that? It's about
I said it's about tolerance.
Yes, it's about tolerance to other people.
Tolerance and apathy are the signs of a dying society.
No, it's completely different. You're coming from a different objective altogether. So with regards to if you antagonise people, then we'll have to report the police, because if these are the people that are coming
So if
here...
I ask the wrong question?
No.
If you antagonize people... Okay, wow. Okay, this is getting more interesting.
You just said my words. You said my by the question.
If you antagonise individuals and causing undue harassment or distress, and that's actually the definition, not my definition. This is the definition of harassment.
I'm not asking anyone questions that doesn't want to do interviews.
I'm just informing you on that. Okay.
It's furries outside a mosque.
Muslim as I am.
Yes, we're quite all right. We're just doing interviews. What for? Just for YouTube. Okay. Sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. I mean,
they actually called the police on someone in public, recording in the public, right? In public space. When you talk about tolerance, tolerance works both ways. You tolerate me, I tolerate you. All right. If it's in your private space, we do understand it's your private space, but that is a public setting, public street. Plus, she's asking questions, just general questions. They were not religion-specific questions. Okay.
We're just asking people their thoughts on British culture.
Right, okay.
do we have to move on, or do we have to stop?
No, we've actually had a complaint from the imam in the mosque.
Really?
The imam complained?
Yep.
Oh, about what have we done?
That you're harassing the congregation here.
No, harassing. He just came out and he's quite happy to talk to
We do want to carry on. Maybe not as close to the entrance to the mosque. Maybe slightly further away. Just, I don't know.
Yeah, sure. There's just lots of people to interview.
Yards further down. Then you might not get people obviously hopefully not calling us again.
No. Obviously, because you're right out.
So that officer, I don't want people calling them again. So please, I don't want to do my job. Yeah, I don't want to be called. I don't want to have to come out here. All right, I don't want to be called. So move, please, move. All right.
Might not get people obviously hopefully not calling us again.
No. Obviously, because you're right outside the mosque.
Well, we were walking around actually. We just stopped because there were a lot of people.
Down there, like outside, like Tesco's or something.
It might be a bit different.
All right.
But it's been lovely chatting.
It has been.
I didn't feel harassed in any way. Okay.
Thank you very much. He clearly said he didn't feel harassed in any way. All right. You've just been asked questions. Like sometimes I look at these things and I just look in amazement. Like, wow. Okay. I mean, someone's definition of harassment might be different from someone else's definition, but there should be a very general definition of harassment that everyone should stick to, all right, which will make things simpler.
WhiteChapel in London to do some interviews in the area because it's a very multicultural area, and we wanted to ask people what they thought the British culture was. Thought it would be an interesting place to do that. Because we were outside the mosque, we started having a guy follow us around with his cell phone and come up to us and basically say, like, you're not allowed to film here, which we perfectly are allowed to film here. It's a public street. The imam himself ended up calling the police on us for just interviewing people outside. We weren't harassing anyone. We weren't forcing them to do interviews. We were keeping the camera down, and the police came up to us and they had a million questions about, what's your report about? Who do you work for? What questions are you asking? Like that's somehow relevant to what we're doing. And they're just waiting there. They're just waiting there in their police car as we stand here and ask people perfectly safe questions like, what does it mean to be British? And anyways, the police car is just sitting there and they're just waiting for us. We're literally going to get arrested for standing outside a mosque.
The contradictions within multiculturalism are put on full display here. There are calls for separate communities, different standards, even parallel systems of justice. Yet when difficult or challenging questions arise, the same voices turn to authorities for support. That contrast raises an important question about consistency. When tolerance is expected from others but not practiced equally in return, it begins to shift away from fairness and toward control, often justified in the name of diversity. It becomes less about mutual respect and more about selective principles. So what do you think? Do you agree with their views on what it means to be British, or would you define it differently? Share your perspective in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.
Wow. this video is very enlightening for me. I don't know about you. Okay, this video exposed the perceptions of a lot of people living in the UK, because a lot of people will see that say they are British, all right, might be British by passport, might be British by birth, but being British, or you know, being from a certain nationality, let's say this is a different country like India, for instance, there's the Indian culture that's very distinct. Then that in Africa there are different countries like Nigerian culture, Ghanaian culture, that cultures are very distinct to certain countries, certain peoples. Okay, so in the UK there is a distinct culture as well. So when you say British, some people might get confused and be like, okay, when you say British, what is it? Britain, like in Great Britain, you have England, Scotland, Wales, all right. Then the United Kingdom, you have Northern Ireland included in that as well. All of this together are British. So you want to say that if there's one British culture, everyone is sort of under the monarchy, all right. And generally, there's some common things in the UK would be like the pop cultures, you know, sports and things like that. Then there's the English culture as well, which includes quite a lot of things like the English food as well. Okay, but in the questions these people are being asked, no one talked about the monarchy, no one talked about the pop culture. Obviously they're Muslims, so they're not really into, you know, things like that. For me, part of British culture, I would say the full English breakfast. Okay, it has so much history, all right. You know, it's called the full Monty because of Gerald Montgomery. Then as a whole, Great Britain is about the freedom of expression, plus it's a Christian country, so a lot of things follow the Christian way. All right, and that's why there's a lot of tolerance in the country. But this gentleman was talking about tolerance. You talk about tolerance, but I mean, it's a two-way street. All right, you tolerate me, I tolerate you. Yes, Britain is multicultural. All right, that's because they've opened their arms to other cultures. They tolerated other cultures to come in. All right, but it's not like other cultures are tolerated to replace the culture. You need to know what the culture of that country is. Accept it first. You accept it. All right, you take it in. You can, I don't know, display your culture, you can believe in your culture, do your cultural stuff, but not let a secondary culture come in and dilute the main culture. All right, let just still there be decorum, you know what I mean? Some people might be watching this and thinking, well, the UK is a multicultural country, so the British culture can be something that's evolving, whereas some others might think there is a local culture and that culture must be preserved. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section. Peace.